Hey guys, today we have something in the shop that I've been wanting to get for a long time, and I'll explain the reason why behind it here in a little bit. But it's a laminator for laminating standard papers like what you'd have inside of an office. This one is a 4-in-1 laminator. It actually comes with a blade built into it, a paper cutter built in, a corner rounder, and it does cold and hot laminations. Now, cold laminations are the ones where it's kind of like a sticky paper that you put your documents in and you send it through cold and it compresses it so that it seals it. Those are ones that you're really not going to be able to get anything back out of. Hot lamination, if you trim right along the edge of the paper, you can actually pull it back apart and it'll separate and you can pull the paper back out. I don't really know of a reason why you'd want to do that, because if you're laminating something to begin with, you should understand you're not going to get it back out real easy. But this is a laminator. We're going to go ahead and unbox it here and see what we come up with, or what we get in here. Looks like you get a few laminating pouches, extremely large ones, standard looks like paper size, and then some small pouches for like collector cards or something. Let's pull them out. Don't need that. Alright, so the smallest ones it looks like here, maybe 3 by 5, 3 by 4. Then it looks like standard paper. Looks like a couple legal ones. And then some pretty big sized ones. I'm not really sure what you use these for. I guess mini posters or something. But that's nice, because a lot of times this stuff doesn't come inside of the box. And I actually purchased some Scotch thermal laminating pouches. I got 5mm and 3mm both. 5mm is going to be a lot thicker, like cardstock, once it's completely sealed up and stuff. What else we got here? We got an owner's manual. Let's see here. It says warm-up time is around 3 to 5 minutes. Laminating speed is around 250 millimeters a minute. Cutting capacity for the cutter is 8 sheets at A4, or 1 laminated pouch. Max cutting length is 345 millimeters, and you can see all that stuff right there. And it tells you over here about the machine itself, capacities and stuff. And then you have the operating instructions here, which for the most part, they're all basically the same. If you've ever worked with a laminator before, they're all basically the same. You kick them on, let them heat up. Light usually comes on to tell you that it's ready. Alright, so here we go with the laminator. This is the box. There isn't too much on the box itself. That's the bottom. That's the front there. This is the one side that tells you that it has 2 rollers, 3 to 5 minute heat up time. What pouch thickness you can use. It has hot and cold settings, and it tells you the maximum width and wattages that it runs at. That's really all that's on the box. That's actually on both sides, so not too much on there. Here's the setup itself. It's actually packaged really well. There we go. Alright, so this is the unit itself. Not too big, pretty standard unless you get just a standard laminating system. It will be smaller if you get just a standard one, but like I said, this actually has a cutter built into it and a corner rounder built into it, and that's right back here. What we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and plug this thing in, since it takes 3 to 5 minutes to heat up, and we'll go over some of the stuff that's built into the system itself. So I just plugged it in. Switches are over here on the side. You have your on and off and hot and cold. I'm going to go ahead and set it to hot, because that's what we're going to try it on first. Well, actually, I don't even have any cold pouches, so we're going to go with hot, and then we're going to turn it on. And as soon as I turn it on, I can feel the roller starts spinning. You can see over here there's a power light, and then there's a ready light right beside it. So I'm going to assume that turns green whenever it's ready to go. The unit itself is really nice, very robust, heavy, good unit. On the bottom, looks like you have some rubberized pads here so that it doesn't move around on the surface. Then you have the information that was basically on the box also. If I can get that to focus, there we go. Model number, wattage, the maximum capacity, stuff like that. And you can see down here in the bottom, this is where the corner rounder is. So we're going to flip it over, and we're actually going to pull that out. So that's it there. Basically, you just stick the laminate, once you're done, stick it in there and click down, and it'll round over the corners. We'll go ahead and leave that out so that we're ready to go. And then you have your cutting bar. On the back right here, you have a switch that locks that cutting bar in place. So if I slide it over, it's in the unlocked position now. We'll be able to pull up, and you have your paper cutter. Now, you don't have to use this just for the pouches. If you have any paper that needs to be trimmed or cardstock, you can just stick it right in there, and it works just like a standard paper cutter. Also on the back here, where it says ABS, that is for if there gets any jams. You push this over to the side, it spreads the rollers apart, and you can pull the system or the paper back out. So that's nice. As for laminating, well, the reason I've been wanting to get one of these for the shop is because I do a lot of work on cars. I do everything in-house. I don't take my cars to the shop, anything, you know, nothing like that. Everything gets done here. But I have a customer that has a 1997 Mercury Sable. The thing is actually in mint condition, but because of the age, certain things are starting to fail. She's having an issue with both of her rear window motors, and I needed to know the wiring diagram, the color codes for the wires, so that I could trace them down and see if there's any faults in that, or if it's a switch or a motor. The problem is that I print all that stuff out, and what happens is, because your hands are dirty, it's outside, everything gets tore up, and you have to keep reprinting. I wanted a system where if I print something for someone and I'm going to use it a lot, I wanted to be able to laminate it so that I could just go right to it, find the paperwork, pull it out, don't have to worry about grease, don't have to worry about it getting tore up or anything like that. So that was the main reason behind the laminator system here. I have two papers here that I want to go ahead and laminate for that customer, so that, like I said, right here's her wiring, and it tells you where it's actually located. Now I'm going to take this out with me when I do the work, so I don't want this getting all messed up and have to keep reprinting things for certain vehicles and stuff like that. So it's really good for laminating documents that you're going to use all the time, that are going to be in an area where water, grease, anything can get on it. Now, I would normally go to an office supply store to laminate, and that's exactly what I did for 3D printer. I do a lot of 3D printing for certain parts if they break on vehicles, anything like that. So I wanted something that would last, and this is actually some G-code and stuff to put into the 3D printer so that it knows certain functions. So I started realizing that this was something that I'd want to have around, and that's why we're at where we're at today. So I'm going to go ahead and get a laminating pouch out of that. We're going to move this back while it's still heating up. I think we're at about 2 minutes right now. Okay, it just clicked and said that it's ready. So that wasn't long for heat up. It certainly wasn't 5 minutes. I would say definitely around 3 minutes or so. So I really like that. The nice thing about it is, if you're going to do this, you're going to have it plugged in and heating up while you're getting everything ready to begin with. But to have only a 3-minute heat time, I really like that. Once it's on, you're pretty much going to leave it on until you're finished, so you don't have to worry about the heating up all the time. We're going to go ahead and line this sheet up inside of this pouch here. Try and get it as centered as possible. That's what I like trying to do. It's in there now. You'll notice one end of that was closed, this end here, that's going to be the end that you're going to send in first. And then you're just going to take it, guide it right in. You can see it's now being pulled in all by itself. It'll come out the back. Go ahead and move the cord so we have some room. Looks like it takes around 30 seconds or so to laminate the pouch, which by my estimations, every other laminator I've ever used, this is about the speed that they run, so no big deal there. As long as it seals the pouch and keeps everything out, you're pretty much good to go, and there's really nothing to complain about. So so far I'm really liking this. It's by a company called JZBRAIN, JZBRAIN. It is sold on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below where you can purchase it at. Like I said, it does hot and cold settings, so it'll do both types of pouches. I really only need it for the hot pouches, so as soon as it pops out here, we'll go ahead and try the paper trimmer and the corner cutter, and that'll just about wrap up the video. But I just want to give you guys an idea of how this works. It's a nice little system. I really like everything it's all combined together. So it's like it's getting ready to pop out the back now. There we go, and it's completed. Nice laminated pouch. It even came with some really good pouches, so I mean that's just as good as the one I got at the office supply store. They're pretty much identical. So okay, we'll go ahead and trim. You can see here there's a slight gap up here, but if you look at the bottom, it's a lot wider. So I want to go ahead and try and even those up a little bit. The sides I'm not too worried about. What I usually do with these, if I have quite a few of them that have to be stacked together, I'll put them all together, punch a hole through the top, and then I'll put a key ring through it so that I can just flip the pages. And if there's a lot of pages, I'll do front, back, so that when I flip it and turn it over, I have the diagram and stuff right there. So we'll go ahead and unlock. There we go. And we'll go ahead and pop this in. So it slides underneath real easy. All you need to do is line up right here on the edge of this silver bar. That pretty much tells you where you're going to end up cutting. So I'm going to line it up right there, push it up against the top so it's flat, and then I'm going to hold that clear bar so that it holds that paper in place so it doesn't cut it uneven. Then we'll just push down. So there, just trimmed it, and you can see there that the bottom is now matching the top. So once we get that part done, that just falls onto a lip in the back of the unit, and you can just take it out and throw it away. We'll relock that. Let me check that blade. Yeah, that blade's nice and sharp, and you can also remove screws right here to resharpen the blade if need be. So we'll lock that back down. And then the corner trimmer. And you can see here, these are already rounded over. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Let me see if I can put something behind it. There we go. You can see those are already rounded over. But the one end that we just trimmed is a angled corner. So it's a 90-degree angle there. And I want that to match the top here. So all you have to do is take your paper or your laminated pouch, stick it right in, like that, punch, and there you go. Now we have a rounded corner to match the factory edge, which is really nice because when you take these things out of binders, I've noticed, there we go, nice rounded corner. The corners can make them get stuck when you go to push them in. They'll bind up on each other on this end or this end when you go to stick them in. So it's nice to be able to round these corners over so that you have a factory edge all the way around. The corner rounder goes in the back right here, and it just stores in there just like so. And it sits flat right on the table. Anything, yeah, it's a very nice unit. I'll leave a link in the description where you can purchase this on Amazon. I'm very happy with it. Get another pouch over here and get this second one sent through. Like I said, if you have, it's just like what you saw when you were in school and stuff. if you have anything that needs laminated or protected, it's a good system for it. There we go. Go ahead and stick this one in. Get it lined up. There we go. Just make sure when you put the paper in, it reaches all the way to the bottom down here, or the top I should say, and then start sending it through. And you can see how wide this is as to how wide of a piece of laminate it'll send through there. And you can see here there's quite a huge gap on each side. And like I said, these biggest pouches that it comes with actually span that complete graph side to side, so you can see how much bigger that pouch is than a standard sheet of paper. So you can actually, you know, laminate quite a big sheet. Now, I'm not too sure, like I said, what kind of paper you would use for something this big, but it'll be nice to have if you have multiple items that have to be laminated together to send through there. That'll be great. Another thing is the small pouches for the trading cards and stuff. Now, I'm not a person to put trading cards inside of pouches like this, just because if you do need to get them back out, you could damage the card. But I have garbage pail kids from when I was a kid that I will never get rid of. I'll never sell. I'll end up passing them down to my grandson, and I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to end up taking those, and in those big sheets, laminating all of them together in one sheet so that it can be put into a poster. And then this one's done here. So all we have to do now is get our corner rounder back out. We'll unlock the cutter. And we'll send it through. Cut it off nice and even. Lock that back up. And then we'll do the corners. Like I said, you just put it in there. There we go. And you have perfectly rounded corners. Just like what they charge you at the office supply store, $2 a sheet to laminate. Do one small investment now, and you never have to worry about it. Get yourself some laminating pouches. Like I said, I bought a whole box of 50 scotches. I got 3mm and 5mm. The 3mm I'll use for the ones I don't really care if they last too long, but the 5mm are going to be for stuff that I want to keep around. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description where you can purchase this. It's on Amazon. Great little unit. I'm very happy with it. It doesn't get hot. Now, you can feel a little bit of heat right here, but the two rollers are right underneath here. So, but other than that, it's not. There's nothing that's too hot to the touch where you can't hold it or anything like that. Great size unit. Let me grab a measure right here, or a tape measure real quick. Overall, it's not that big. We're looking at around 17¼ inches wide by around 6½ inches deep, so it's not very big at all. It's about 3 inches tall. So great little unit, all in one, keeps everything stored on it. Go ahead and turn it off here. I'm very happy with it. I'll put a link in the description where you can purchase it. It's on Amazon by a company called JZBRAIN. Not expensive, and hopefully will last for a long time. Like I said, this is going to be in the shop strictly for laminating, you know, work papers and stuff like that. But this would be great for crafts, schools, shops, just overall anything that you need to protect. Laminate. Just make sure it's not a government document, because I'm pretty sure you cannot laminate government documents. But other than that, it'll work perfect for what I need it for. Alright guys, if you have any questions, comment below, and I'll try and answer any of them for you. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description to where you can purchase this on Amazon. JZBRAIN is the name of the company, and I love it. So, alright guys, any questions, post them in the comments. I'll try and help. Have a good day.